Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shergog, your host, and today I will take a look at how this slime boy right here could have saved Ainz Ooal Gown and what Evileye has to do with it, of all people. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel and say my thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And now with that said, let's start with the topic at hand. Hiro was, and likely still is, an office worker from the dystopian future of the year 2138. For him, like for many other players of the Dive MMORPG Yggdrasil Online, the virtual world was sometimes the only solace and sanctuary, a way to escape the harsh, stressful and monotonous everyday life. But in the guild Ainz Ooal Gown, unlike many other guilds and places in the virtual gaming world, one could talk openly about work and one's daily life and struggles. This was highly unusual because for many Yggdrasil players it was almost a given to be left in peace from the problems of daily life here, so that they could immerse themselves entirely into this fantasy world. However, with time, his workload became increasingly burdensome, so Hiro, despite still wanting to enjoy his hobby, playing Yggdrasil Online with his friends, could dedicate less and less time, until he didn't log on for many years. And the very last time that Hiro logged into the game happened only because Momonga, the guildmaster of the guild Ainz Ooal Gown, sent him a message on the last day of the game, inviting him to the guild's chambers to meet him in the game and spend a last night together before the servers were finally shut down. As planned, Hiro arrived, but he was the only other player besides Ainz who took a seat at the round table of Nezarec on the last day of Yggdrasil. However, he could not stay long. He was so tired from work, he couldn't get enough sleep, he had gained a lot of weight due to stress and took many medications just to cope with the daily hellish life. Therefore, after ranting to Ainz about it, and after Ainz listening patiently, he logged out, just a few minutes before the server shut down. And that had far-reaching consequences. Not only was Hiro denied a ticket out of the dystopian future of the year 2138, as he would have been transported to the new world just a few minutes later if he had stayed until the server shut down. But the absence of Hiro also brought a terrible catastrophe in the form of Ainz Ooal Gown and his guild, who had now no one but the ever so slightly evil children, or rather the NPCs of his friends who had played Yggdrasil Online with him to keep him company, who now had no one but the ever so slightly evil children, or rather NPCs of his friends who had played Yggdrasil Online with him to keep him company. They were the only ones left. Therefore, his rebirth into the new world turned into a catastrophe of epic proportions for the New World denizens. And I know what you're thinking now. Ainz Ooal Gown was indeed aware of his actions. He knew what he was doing. He's not passively controlled by his undead body. And we got even a glimpse into his thoughts in Volume 9, just before Ainz Ooal Gown completed his super tier magic and summoned the children of one of H.P. Lovecraft's outer gods to trample an army of forcibly recruited farmers. Fun fact, without the inner monologue that we as readers of the books and viewers of the anime have, we wouldn't even perceive Ainz Ooal Gown as a being with moral qualms, doubts, and a desire for companionship and friends. Instead, we would see him as Princess Renna does, or Albedo, namely as a diabolical and ingenious undead overlord who seeks world domination. However, thanks to this insight into the thoughts of Ainz Ooal Gown, we could see how he has become more and more the overlord he pretended to be internally. When he was in the process of taking the lives of over 70,000 people through his super tier magic spell alone, he was fully aware of what he was doing. He wasn't in a blood frenzy. He wasn't blinded by power and ambition. Instead, he clearly and unequivocally formulated that he knew what he was doing was, at least by the former standard of his new world, wrong. That hundreds of thousands of people would lose their lives because of this action that he was taking. Yet, Ainz felt no sorrow, no pity, not even doubt. As far as his emotional damper allowed it, he was excited and had a certain anticipation, not because of the killing, but because he wanted to see how powerful his spell was, what the effects in the new world would be, and how it would benefit him and Nezarec. However, all of this cold modus operandi, was still tied to his guild, his friends from the game, and their children, the NPCs of the Great Tomb of Nezarec. And we have also seen another side of Ainz Ooal Gown, or rather Sotaro Suzuki, and we have seen how he would have behaved under different circumstances. In the Evileye bonus volume, Ainz is also transported to the new world, but unlike in the canonical story, he arrives not only 200 years earlier, at the same time as two other players who joined the 13 heroes had arrived, and the same time where the Minotaur King came to this brave new world. He presumably, also just like them, arrived alone, without his guild, the Great Tomb of Nezarec, and stumbled upon a vampire princess named Kinu Fasris Invern, the only surviving member of her royal house. Well, surviving might put it a bit graciously, and it is probably a bit exaggerated, because she had become undead, but by no means as powerful as Ainz Ooal Gown. So Ainz found himself in a lawless land with absolute power from Evileye's perspective. Yet, he didn't use it to experiment with Evileye and bring her under his control, or to test his powers by killing her. Instead, he offered her help and protection, as you can undoubtedly see in the artwork of the books that I'm showing here. Ainz, the undead overlord, was neither cruel nor obsessed with becoming stronger, dominating the world, or anything of that sort. And all of this also doesn't imply that his motivation has simply changed, because in the end, he refounded his guild, Ainz Ooal Gown, with Evileye as one of the new founding members. So Ainz was still so emotionally connected to his guild and the old friends that he had, that he resurrected the guild. Quite fitting for an undead overlord. However, with time, the memory of his old guild, the memories of his life as a human, and all the other stuff that was so meaningful to him simply faded away, and after 200 years, Ainz Ooal Gown forgot that they ever existed. Ainz became in this new world, in this new timeline, a force for good, and behaved more like Ark from Skeleton Knight in another world, instead of being the undead overlord that we know him as. His surrounding had a decisive influence on him. So, what I'm trying to say? Quite simple. If Hero hadn't logged out and come to the new world with Ainz Ooal Gown, he would have been reborn exactly like Ainz as his avatar, a slime. Yet since Hero, unlike Ainz, didn't have this emotional dampener that regulated strong feelings, but continued to freely use his human emotions, the entire story would probably have unfolded very differently. Like similar to the bonus story with Evileye, Hero would have of course taken some time off to relax and sleep for once in a month or so, and then had a hearty meal, while Ainz, as in the canonical story, would have assessed the situation. However, Ainz would never have unintentionally declared world domination to be his goal, or rather even if he had done so by accident, Hero would have put an end to this unintentional ambition rather quickly, because mentally he was still a human. And he would have been a counterbalance to the NPCs of Nezarec, who hardly had anyone with positive karma among them, and viewed humans or other outsiders with a certain disdain. While I believe that Nazarick would have expanded here too, it would have been more along the lines of simply and very easily buying the surrounding lands of Nazarick from the financially troubled Dryasdal's kingdom. They even might have acted as a sort of barrier between the Empire and the kingdom, simply because Hiro wanted to protect both sides. I think that if military action were taken, they would have been defensive and would have been directed against the existing beastmen that were ravaging the Dragon Kingdom or other monstrous threats, rather than necessarily against human kingdoms or the theocracy of slaying. But as I said, all of this didn't happen, and without Hiro, Ainz Ooal Gown will now be shaped by the NPCs of his guild, just as he was formed in the bonus story to Evileye and the other members of his new, or rather refounded guild. And this will likely turn him into an overlord over the course of 200 years, until he no longer pretends to be this evil mastermind. But he will truly become it. And that's pretty much it. And now it's your turn. Please let me know your thoughts and ideas about the video, and of course about the topic at hand, down in the comment section. And while you type, let me quickly say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Arder Daddy Arder, ASK, Bad Guy Ye, Bad Burrito 316, Beezer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Dragonlord Placido Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Thiralshivan, Guy with That Hat, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia Viffy Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Loverazor, Mervek, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, Okill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Personage, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Q&A Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrinekeeper, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rocket Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenokai, and Zonegon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.